This professor doesn't only grade on the curve, she sells 7-wick candles and you can use my discount code Jamal for a 20% discount on your first purchase. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review part 2 of the reunion to the real 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wick candles of Potomac. So we start the episode off with Candace and Mia going back and forth with each other. They keep trying to tell Candace, you're doing way too much, you're always cutting way too deep when you're in an argument or when you're trying to throw shade or whatever. And Giselle and Karen are like, you know, me and Karen, we throw shade at each other, but it's always light, funny shade, and it's always above the surface. Candace, you always take it way too far. But I'm like, okay, I understand what they're trying to say, but at the same time, who is Giselle and Karen to tell anybody, oh, you're taking it way too far? Karen, just the first episode, like I said in my last review, you were talking about Giselle's hot box and Sing Sing, and just like how they mentioned later on in this reunion, how you kind of, you know, made fun of her being a drug addict or going to a mental facility. So it's just like, how is that not taking it too far? We can't hold Candace to the fire and try to crucify her, but at the same time, you know, there's different levels to what you can say and what you can't say. How is that not taking it too far right there? You know, how come nobody says anything to Karen? Just because she's a fan favorite, people kind of let it slide, whatever comes out of her mouth. And, you know, at the same time with Candace, I get the outrage. You know, I get how it could look like she's taking it too far sometimes or a couple times. You know, but at the same time, I wonder if this whole entire situation would have been playing out the way it is had we not known about Mia's mom's situation. Let's say Mia and Candace were going back and forth and Candace just so happened to say, oh, your mom is low budget. But we did not, the audience and the cast did not know about Mia's mom's situation. Mia's mom was nowhere in the equation. Would the outrage still would have been the same? I mean, would people still have been mad at Candace for saying, oh, your mom is low budget? I feel like Candace pissed off everybody who's watching just because we know the backstory to Mia's mom and we feel sorry for her and we think that that's taking it way too far, knowing what we know about Mia's mom. So that's probably why everybody's mad at Candace. That's probably why Andy and the cast is looking at Candace like, oh, Candace, you took it way too far because, you know, we know about this woman's issues and what she's been through in her life, and you're telling her that she's low budget. So that's probably why it also makes Candace look bad. But again, if we're going to crucify Candace, let's crucify everybody else because Giselle and Karen, neither one of you are Mother Teresa. So I don't get why both of them are acting so, you know, highly and elite over Candace. Like, yes, Candace has her issues, but so does Karen and Giselle and everybody else on the cast. You know, like everybody else has their own issues just as Candace, but I don't get why she's getting it so hard. Just like I said in my last review, other wives from other cities have said or done much more extreme things, if not on the same level as Candace, but I don't get why everybody is just so focused on getting Candace off the show. You know what I mean? Again, we're here to watch them just kind of go back and forth with each other, have fun. We're not here, again, to watch them hold hands. I also like Candace's point that she made against Giselle by telling her, remember when you brought your friend Robin over to Ashley's restaurant and Robin got into Ashley's face and then they play the flashback from years ago when Robin put her finger in Ashley's face and it looked like she was about to touch her and it looked like things were about to get physical. And then Giselle's sorry excuse was, oh, well, I didn't know that that's what she was going to do once we got there. And then Robin's excuse was, oh, well, you know, as soon as I saw Ashley, all I saw was red. So I'm like, okay, so it's okay for you to see red. It's okay for you to black out or to almost get physical with somebody. But if Candace does it, it's a problem and she needs therapy. She needs anger management. She needs so much help. She is cutting too deep. But it's okay for Robin to almost get into a physical altercation at a restaurant at that with somebody else, Ashley. You know, it's okay for that. And isn't Robin, if my memory serves me correct, isn't she the same one that got into that argument with Monique with the umbrella? Was it her or was it Giselle? I'm not sure, but that was also another altercation that almost escalated to something physical. But again, we only see it when Candace does it. And again, I'm not saying that Candace is perfect either. She has her flaws and she has her ways of taking it too far, I guess. But, you know, again, if we're going to crucify her, let's crucify everybody. You know? And then Andy asks Wendy, so what do you think about the whole situation? No, I don't want to talk about your candle line. We'll talk about that later. Wendy, put that damn candle, put it behind the couch. Put it behind the couch before I take your champagne away for next season. What do you think about the situation with Candace? And then Wendy's like, you know, I just feel like she takes it way too far sometimes. I mean, yeah, we all throw shade, but she kind of just lands it. And then Candace is like, well, what? Am I not supposed to land it? Am I just supposed to spare everybody's feelings? And again, it's just, I'm torn. Like, I really am torn. Like, my name is LaToya Luckett because, like, at one point, I get what the women are saying, but I get what Candace is also saying. I understand everybody's perspective. I really do because, again, in the real world, in an argument, do any of us really hold back? I guess in an argument, I guess just to spare people's feelings. If somebody pisses you off, are you realistically gonna think, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't take it too far. Maybe I shouldn't say this, or maybe I shouldn't call them a bitch, or maybe I shouldn't call them this. Blah blah blah. Are you really gonna think like that? Realistically, no. I mean, nobody's gonna be like, okay, we're gonna fight, but we're gonna be at a level 3. Let's go. You know, nobody thinks like that. Everybody always just tries to, I guess, reply to what they feel like it, but I don't know. It's just such a sticky situation, y'all. I don't know. But again, I do see everybody's perspective. And then Karen, she also said something that was very suspicious because she was like, oh, well, I mean, Candace, if you keep acting like this and if your mouth keeps being reckless, you know, maybe people are not going to be in the line of fire and sometimes people are going to just mute you out. AKA what she was really trying to say, oh, we're going to ice you out of the group and you're not going to be able to film with any of us because none of us are going to want to film with you. That's exactly what they're going to do. I feel like this whole situation is kind of reminding me with Monique. They're trying to ice out Candace, and I wish Candace, and I hope she does, realize that Giselle is not her friend. Karen is not her friend. Robin is not her friend. And I guess the only ally that she kind of has is Wendy, but I don't know why Wendy's also, you know, kissing Candace's ass this particular reunion. I mean, I guess because she's going at it with Mia and she doesn't like Mia either. So she's like, okay, let me jump on the bandwagon, you know? I kind of just wish that Candace, Mia, and Ashley would just get together. They would be such a good group and go against everybody else for next season. But, you know, I don't know if Candace could be mature enough, I guess, to kind of just let the bygones be bygones with Ashley and just let that go. And I don't know, Candace, she's just giving you all the red flags that she might not want to film with you and that she's probably not going to support your album later on in the future. Then Andy moves over to Mia and he's like, okay, Mia, so last season, Candace was a hot mess on social media. And this season, it seems like you're a hot mess on social media, specifically on Twitter. Let's talk about all your tweets that you've been tweeting about Skyla, Candace, and Chris and all of this. So what's been going on with that? And then Mia, you know, even though Mia tries to own up a lot of stuff that goes on in her life before anybody tries to use it as a weapon against her. And this is something I also forgot to mention last review, that yes, she may have revealed that she was a stripper and she did take off her clothes the first part of the reunion last week, even though during the season she said that she wore ball gowns to the strip club and she doesn't get naked. But then last week she was saying the complete opposite. Yes, she does own up a lot of stuff in her life, but she also gets caught up in her lies and in her bullshit that she tries to, you know, keep together, but she forgets that she's being put on camera. And we could just rewind to see, okay, Mia, you lied here, you lied here, you lied here, and it's not making sense. And she kind of gets caught up in this moment as well with her social media comment that she does here, because she's like, oh, well, Andy, I don't really do any social media. I don't really tweet. I have a social media manager that does it for me. And I'm like, Mia, please, you know it was you. Like, social media, my ass. And then she pretends that, oh, Candace, you're blocked? Like, Mia, stop it. Like, you know you hit the block button on Candace's Twitter account and it wasn't your social media manager account. And then Skyla, she tries to have a moment and she's like, wait, I have a bunch of papers and flyers here. Look, these are all your tweets. So she brings out a bunch of papers that she printed at the local library. And she's like, look, these are all your tweets. And then Mia, she's like, can I take a look at them? Okay, thank you. I wrote this one. I'm like, Mia, you wrote all of them. So stop pretending, Mia, as if you never seen those tweets that Skyla handed over to you. I mean, she was just looking at those papers like, no, I never seen this before. Oh, wait, I remember I posted this on a Tuesday. No, Skyla, I never tweeted this. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I remember I posted this that Sunday morning. No, I never seen this, Skyla. Like, she was just lying. And then Andy moves over to Skyla. And, you know, Skyla, she has her only question that Andy asked. And he's like, so, Skyla, you and Candace, you know, both of you assume that Mia is very full of classism. But the only classism here is you and Candace by continue bringing up Mia's past on being a stripper. So what's that about? And then Skylar, she's just like, well, I just feel like she tries to weaponize her money and her status and blah, blah, blah. But I'm really curious to know if Skylar was on last season with Wendy, when we first got introduced to her, how would she have felt with Wendy saying, oh, I have 6 degrees, I have 6 degrees, I have 5 degrees every 5 seconds in every single episode? I wonder if Skylar would have said the same thing, like, oh, Wendy's just trying to be elitist and she's just trying to, show off and just trying to downplay everybody else by showing us her status, by showing us how many degrees she has. I wonder if she would have had the same energy with Wendy, but regardless, that was the only moment Skylar got, and I'm surprised that Andy just like, well, okay, Skylar, well, you did what you wanted, so pick up all the papers that you just brought up. There's one right there next to your high heel, and there's one right behind the couch, and there's one right there next to Karen. Pick all that shit up, and you could get going. Go back to the dressing room, and I think we got some fruit in the waiting room. So go ahead, Skylar. And then she just proceeds to get up, and that was it. I'm like, that was it. At least she looks good. She looks beautiful, but damn, that was all she came out here for, just to have like a 2-second conversation, and that was it. Monique had more airtime this episode than Skylar. And she wasn't even on the show. They talked about Monique much more than they did Skylar in this reunion so far, and we're only in part 2. And Skylar, all she got was a deep breath. And that was it. By the time you excelled, she was gone. If I was Skylar, I would have came up with a whole plan to try to extend my stay until part 3 of the reunion by starting something with Mia. Like, okay, Andy, you want me to leave? Okay, I just have one more thing to say. Mia, I think that you're a bitch. I think that you're a bitch. What do you have to say about that? And then maybe they'll extend you to part 3. Just try to start a fight with Mia, or try to start a fight with somebody on the cast, to go back and forth, and maybe they'll keep you on the couch a little longer. But Skylar, all you brought was some papers that you got from the local Staples, and then you got the boot. So everybody takes a break and they all go back to their hotel room. We see Candace, she's in her room stocking up on tissue boxes, and then Wendy goes over and she's like, hey, do you have a copy of your album? I kind of want to support. I kind of want to listen to it while we're in our hotel rooms. Do you have a copy? And Candace is like, yeah, I think I have a whole bunch that I was going to give to the cast and the production after the reunion wrap. So you could have one after. And she's like, I'm just a bitch, and some people just can't handle my mouth, and again, that's Candace's issue. Again, you could be this bitch that you want, but again, not everybody's gonna react the same way, Candace, that you want, or civilized at that. So regardless, they all go back on stage, and then Andy brings up the conversation about Karen and Giselle, that first episode where they both went at it, and Karen was like, oh, you have a hot box, aka you have an STD, and I believe it was Robin that was just like, oh yeah, Karen, you called her a whore. You called her a whore from Hampton. You said that she was a drug addict or alcoholic or something like that, and she had to go to a mental institution. And Karen was just like, yeah, I did call her all of that. And then they played the unseen footage, and I'm like, how come we didn't play that? Why are we trying to clean up Karen's image? Why did we not see that throughout the season or the very first episode? Were we trying to play a certain role in Karen's favor? Because if this was Candace, and Candace would have said all of this to Giselle, or let alone to Mia or to Ashley, oh, everybody would have been, oh, I can't believe that Candace called Mia, a hot box, or she called her a whore, she called her this. But because it's Karen, they let her get away with it because she's a fan favorite. And I do like Karen too, but again, just because Karen says certain things and it's not coming out of Candace's mouth, it's okay and it's passable. Like, oh yeah, I can insult you, but as long as I do it nicely and undercoverly, it's fine. I can be like, oh, Giselle, yes, you're a whore from Hampton. Mwah, mwah. Oh, you went to Sing Sing. Mwah, mwah. And everybody finds it okay. But let Candace say the same thing, and just because she says it with a twist, it's a problem. So I'm like, okay, I guess, whatever. And then Andy claims that everything that Karen was talking about Giselle was all in the blogs. And then Wendy jumps in and she's like, oh yeah, we should all ignore it. And then here comes Robin. Wendy, but those blogs are just blogs. Giselle, they said that she had a hot box, and look, she brushed it off, unlike you. And then Wendy, she was like, skirt. She was just like, Robin, remember when you said earlier that we shouldn't police how we react? Yeah, let's stick to that. And then Robin just looked so pissed. Robin was just like, oh, you know what? I'm not giving you a discount on my embezzled hat. So, okay, fine, whatever. I'll stay quiet. I'm like, Robin, just stick right there. Just put your shield and sword down for 1 second. She just wants to defend Giselle at any point given throughout this reunion. Somebody could breathe the wrong way, and Robin would just jump out and be like, wait, no, I'm gonna defend her battles. She chose me. I am Giselle's main Pokemon. I'm the one that's fighting her battles. But regardless, Gisela and Karen, they kind of just squashed the whole issue that they have between each other. They kind of have this respect for each other, and I feel like their issue with each other and their rivalry is only for the cameras and just for fun, light shade or whatever. You know, I just feel like they don't really hate each other. They know what they're doing when it comes to being in front of the cameras, and they're like, and Giselle, she actually gets emotional. She gets choked up a bit. She's like, I appreciate you, Karen, for not, you know, when you came to my event, for not being, you know, so cold or mean or anything. You actually brought a gift. And then Karen was just like, don't make me cry. I'm gonna give you a 95% discount on my La Dame candles. The 5-wick one. Yes, I don't have a 1-wick candle like, you know, some other people on this stage, but I'm gonna give you a discount, Giselle. I'm gonna give you a discount because I love you. You know, I really do appreciate you. And me and you could always gonna go back and forth with each other, but you know, just, it's all love. But then Wendy jumps in and she's like, Giselle, I just find it hypocritical how you wanted an apology from Karen, something that's facts, but you wouldn't apologize to me for a rumor. And Giselle's like, wait, no. And then she spun the whole situation and she's like, you looked at my daughter Grace sideways. And I'm like, wait, what? Where is that coming from? And they play the footage back, and I don't think that Wendy was looking at Grace sideways or looking at her with any malicious intent or anything. I feel like she was just pissed off at what had just happened at Robin and Giselle's event, and she was just not in the mood to look happy or smile, and Grace just so happens to be walking by, and she just so happened to look at her. I just feel like, I don't know, Giselle, that was a little bit too much, but regardless, Wendy apologized, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna be the mature one, and I'm gonna apologize to Grace. So I just hope that you apologize to my children as well. And Giselle and her just kept going back and forth with each other. And then the other thing that I went back with the whole situation of Karen saying, oh yeah, you went to Sing Sing, you're a whore, you're this, that, and the third. She said that she didn't say it aggressively. And then Candace, she kept jumping in and she's like, well, isn't that bad right there? How come nobody's saying anything about that? And I also wanted to know, I'm like, okay, just like I mentioned a couple seconds ago, how come Karen gets away with everything that she says to Giselle, but if Candace was to say the same thing to anybody on the cast, she'll be crucified for it again, you know? And Karen's excuse is, oh, I didn't say it aggressively. It doesn't matter if you say it aggressively or not. You take it too far by saying that, oh yeah, Giselle should have been in a mental institute, or she was a drunken whore from Hampton, blah, 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 you know? So that's not taking it too far. So again, where are the levels here, or where is there rules to, oh, can you take it this far? Can you call somebody a whore, or is that taking it too far? Can you insinuate that somebody belongs in a mental institution, or is that taking it too far? You know, when is it taking it too far? Or is it only taking it too far when it comes to Candace? But regardless, Andy is like, you know, I think we should make up and we should have a nice hug together. So eventually Giselle and Karen are like, you know what? Even though we're sick of each other, we're gonna get up and hug each other. And then I saw some ass grabbing, and I think I saw a nipple, but you know, it was a cute moment. But I know Robin was just like, I know Karen is not hugging Giselle. It's okay, it's fine, whatever, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Like, just wait. Giselle, I'm gonna talk to you after the reunion. You know, she was fuming. So then Andy moves the conversation over to Ashley, and he's like, so Ashley, your babies are so adorable and they're so cute. Anyway, let's get down to the meat and potato. Is Michael into porn? Is that what he's trying to do with this movie production? He's trying to get into porn, isn't he? Tell me he's trying to get into porn, Ashley. Is he into porn, Ashley? And then Wendy's like, wait, Ashley, what kind of movies is Michael trying to make? And then Andy's like, well, people assume that he's trying to get into the porn industry. And then Ashley, you know, she came out with the uncomfortable laugh because she was like, porn? No, we would never. Porn. Oh, fuck. They're onto us. Porn. Andy, you're so funny. I should have thought of that. Oh, fuck. What do I say? Oh my God, they're about to expose me and Michael. No, you're so silly. No, I wish. No, he would never. He has some money on the side, and he just kind of wants to invest in the movie production. So that's all he's trying to do. But in reality, we all know that Michael is really trying to start his company, Juan Dix Sin Production. You know, that's what he's really trying to do with the movie production. He's trying to make his own company called Juan Dix Sin Production. Andy then asks Candace, do you take pleasure in being nasty to Ashley about her body and body shaming her after she just gave birth to her child? And then Giselle, she jumps in and she's like, yeah, I took offense to that too. And I'm like, Giselle, why? You just stay out of it. She's like, I took offense to it because she just pushed out a child and you're over here criticizing her body. And I did kind of agree with her because, I mean, she did just have a child. And that's the first thing that came out of Candace's mouth. And then Candace, I'm not sure if her answer kind of went unnoticed, but she was like, so what? Who cares? And then even Wendy and Karen were both shocked. And Wendy's the only one for the most part on the cast that she's like team Candace. And even she was shocked at her response. I'm like, damn, Candace, I mean, this is what I'm seeing, that I guess you don't take accountability, or you don't have, I guess, a soft side to be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I did take it too far. She stands in what she says and she's not gonna budge. She's just like, I said what I said. It's not changing and it is what it is. And she's like, well, that's that. And then Andy's like, well, okay, so the same thing that Candace said to you, Michael also said the same thing to you, Ashley. So what do you feel about that? And then Ashley, she's like, well, I mean, it's two different situations. When Candace said it to me, she was attacking me just to attack me, but then Michael was just telling me just to help me out with my body. You know, that's something that me and him share. We're both physical with each other. And I'm like, Ashley, you will defend this man till death. Like, she took her vows till death do us part way too seriously. Because she's just like, no, I mean, he wasn't being critical. He wasn't being rude or nasty about it. He was just trying to help me out, you know, because physical fitness is something important to me and I needed to get back into shape. And I'm like, but Ashley, you just gave birth. Like, you just gave birth like 2 seconds ago. And you're talking about you wanted to be back into shape. Like, no, it's okay for women to just take it easy for a while and, you know, not snap back into your body that you had before. You know, that is something that is so wrong with society nowadays. Like, you know, you can't be post pregnancy body for 2 seconds without having to think of, oh, I need to get surgery, or I need to lose the stomach, or I need to lose this, that. You could just rest, Ashley, you know. But your husband was being an asshole, and he was being very disrespectful with what he was saying it to you. Like, oh yeah, no, you need to get back into shape. I'm not really turned on by you. I wasn't really looking at your vagina when you gave birth to the child. You know, he was saying all of that, and he was being nasty about it, Ashley. So I don't know why you're defending that. What he and Candace said was both bad, but I feel like it was probably worse because it's coming out of your husband's mouth. Andy also tells Candace that what's with the obsession with Ashley's breast milk that you bring up in every single episode. I mean, it was a thing with Candace. I mean, she kept bringing up the breast milk, like every 5 seconds in every single episode when it had to do with Ashley. And he's like, is it because you're jealous that she's a mom or something? And then Candace is like, yes, I'm so jealous. And for a second, I actually thought she was going to start crying. That's how good on cue she's at with crying. Even everybody else was shocked, but then she was just joking. And then Ashley's like, well, you know, I feel like one day when she's a mom and she gets to experience this, you know, then she'll realize what she said was wrong. And I do agree. I believe I said that in one of my reviews. If and when Candace wants to be a mom, or she's given the opportunity, I feel like she'll look back at everything she said to Ashley and realize, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't have, you know, made fun of this or her body, or, you know, pregnancy is not a joke. You know, all of that is not something to play around with. But, you know, again, if the time comes, that's when she'll realize it. Candace's argument against Ashley is, well, you as a light-skinned woman, you make fun of my hair and how dry it is, but look at you. You're light-skinned and your hair could just drop the way it is, so you have that type of privilege. And then Ashley's like, you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the privilege and let's talk about the colorism. But then it comes to find out that Ashley doesn't think that there is no type of colorism in this group of women, in this cast. And I'm like, really, Ashley? Like, you don't see it that way? I mean, even Wendy was shocked. Wendy's like, how can you, you know, sit here and know that the colorism is a thing in society and it's an issue, but you don't think that it impacts this group specifically? And I honestly have seen it this entire season, specifically with Wendy at the beginning with Robin and Giselle, how they were treating her. They were treating her so disrespectfully, so nasty to Wendy, being one of the only 2 dark-skinned women on the cast. They treated her so badly. Even Giselle's slight comments of her saying, oh yeah, I believe it was like 2-3 episodes ago when they were on the cast trip, and Giselle, I forgot what she said about Wendy. She was just like, oh yeah, it, or she called her it or something, anything besides a human. She referred to Wendy as an object or something like that. And I'm just like, Giselle, what is that supposed to mean? And then even Robin always painting out Wendy to be this aggressive, angry person. Oh, why are you so aggressive with everything? Why are you coming at us like that? When it was, in reality, it was her and Giselle who started any issue with Wendy. And they always try to paint out Wendy to be some crazy woman that just started mess with everybody just to start it, when in fact, she didn't do anything. She's just defending herself, and neither of you could take it. So I was shocked to see that was Ashley's take on it, and I'm glad that Wendy spoke out on that. Even with Candace, again, people crucify Candace for everything that she says, and again, she may not always be right, but if the same thing that Candace was saying was coming out of Karen's mouth, and Karen being a light-skinned woman, I feel like people would just be like, oh yeah, Karen is she's the grande dame. She's just being funny. She's so hilarious. She is the queen of Potomac. I feel like the rules wouldn't apply with Karen, but they apply differently with Candace. And again, like I said, she may not always be right, but let's call a thing. And then Ashley brings up Candace's comment that she made about her online, on Twitter, and in person. And then this is where Candace kind of started losing me again, because Candace couldn't remember all of a sudden. She was like, no, I don't remember ever saying this to you at all. And then they play the footage back, and we all see what Candace called Ashley and what she assumed Michael was to Ashley at the dinner table when they were on the cast trip a couple episodes ago. And then even Robin, the referee, she had to jump in, and she's like, yeah, remember you said so-and-so about Michael and Ashley. And Candace she didn't want to take accountability to that. And I'm like, Candace, you do realize, you as a black woman saying it to another black woman, that's not okay for you to be using those type of terms to her, even if you do not like her. That's still not okay for you to say. It's not okay for anybody to say that to anybody, but you're saying it to another black woman, and you think that that's okay, or you think that you're gonna get any cool points just because you're using that as a jab. That is not cool. That is not funny. That is not shade, or that's not anything. If anything, that's just making yourself look like a clown by using those type of terms. Even if Ashley is married to a creepy white man, it's still not okay for you to assume that she's this to him just because you don't like her. But Andy's like, Candace and Ashley, when are you two ever going to be friends? Because you two just went out recently for New York Fashion Week. And then we see a picture of both of them with like a fan or somebody. I'm not sure who it was. And, I really do wish that they could just bury the hatchet and just move on from it, because I feel like they will be such good friends again. And they'll probably be a power group, a power duo, a power couple, whatever. If they both teamed up, because we both know that Ashley is messy, Candace, she has a way with words, so just put that together and boom, you get the Powerpuff Girls. Throw in Mia in there too, she could be like Blossom or something, but whatever. So then Candace is like, I'm not gonna cry right now. It's just, I'm not over the whole Monique situation. And I'm like, why are we bringing her up again? At this point, just bring her out. Give a Scala's pink dress and just, tell Monique to hurry up and get to the filming destination, and just take a Scala's dress and just put it on Monique and just have her sit next to Mia, so we could all squash this and have a conversation with her, since we want to keep bringing her up. And, Candace's issue with Ashley and even Karen is that she is not forgiving them from taking her side, and for Ashley writing that statement that she did last season. And I'm like, is that really that serious for you to hold on to that type of grudge? I mean, Ashley, I don't think she was doing it maliciously, right? I mean, she was just giving a statement that she had to make, and she told the truth, right? It's not like she lied and said, oh yeah, Candace did this or this, that, and she didn't exaggerate anything. And then she also says that she's mad at Karen for still continuing the friendship with Monique, but she's not giving the same energy that she's given to Ashley to Karen. And I'm like, oh, Candace, it's just so high school. Let everybody be friends with whoever, and that's that. You're obviously, Mia is friends with some of the cast, or most of the cast, and you're not mad at them for being friends with Mia, so what's the problem? I don't know. It's just, some things, Candace, you just gotta let it go. You can't let that live in your head forever, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who's going to be miserable. Monique is probably living her life, happy, and Ashley, she's doing her, Karen is doing her, and you're the only one who's bothered by it. You have to just let it go at some point. So then Andy moves the conversation over to Wendy and her body, and she goes on and she lists the surgeries that she got. And I believe she said she got a BBL and her breast. I think that was it, right? Yeah, for the most part, that was it. And I was like, okay, that was that. And then they went on to the whole conversation with Robin and Giselle, and how both of them thought that Wendy was changing and she was a whole different person from last season. And then, Robin is just so full of it. She's so full of shit. Well, not really, because, later on she tells us that she released it all during lunch. But But regardless, she's just so full of it because she's like, no, I was just curious, Wendy, on the situation with you and your body because, I wasn't trying to slut shame you. I was just trying to figure you out why, there was a huge difference. And I'm like, no, Robin, stop. Because you and Giselle, there is footage this entire season of you and Giselle both making Wendy cry from, going after her so hard about her body and body shaming her on why she got the surgery and why she looks different. And, Eddie, he wants her new body because she's just doing this for him and blah, 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 blah. So Giselle, cut it out because Giselle and Robin, both of you cut it out because I don't buy it. And then Andy, he tries to be shady. He brings up the whole candle situation. And he's like, so, Wendy, to people, it seems weird that you went from degrees and doctors to candle line. Like, what's that about? And, do you feel some type of way that Karen, she didn't tell you that she was also doing the whole candle line thing? And then Wendy's like, I always wanted to do this and it's fine if Karen is doing it. And then they did the whole flashback with Karen and, her saying, oh yeah, I've been wanting to do this years ago. So I let Karen go with that one, even though it just looks shady. But obviously I don't think she really purposely did it, to any malicious harm for Wendy. I feel like it was just awkward timing maybe, but maybe she should have said something to Wendy. And then Andy adds in, Wendy, why didn't you release the candles prior to the reunion? I mean, it could have been good promotion. I mean, Mia, she got her own candle line done before you. And then Mia's like, that the best revenge is my paper. And then Wendy's like, well, all this business thing, it's a lot of work. So I just do it my way. And, Andy, he tried to stir the pot between all three of them. But luckily, all three of them were just like, no, we're fine. And then Wendy made a huge announcement. Huge. She's like, I have a huge announcement. So for my Onyi candles, I'm going to announce that I'm not only going to have one wick, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wick candles. Yes, 7 wick candles, 5 to 7. So then Robin finally gets a segment and she's talking about her lunch and how she couldn't digest things. And, she usually takes a shit at this time and the food just wasn't going down and she's just constipated and... Andy then brings up the cheating allegations between Eddie and Wendy and how Robin and Giselle were the one that brought that conversation over to Wendy and how if anybody in the cast knew about it. And for the most part, nobody knew except Karen and Robin. But Robin lets everybody know that, yeah, no, this is just from that vlog that reported on Giselle earlier. And then Andy's like, oh, you mean the one that reported that Giselle had a hot box? And then Giselle's like, yeah. I'm like, Giselle, shh. Just stop it. Let the hot box comment go. And Wendy's issue is that Giselle just assumed that just because she got her body done, that she was just doing it so she could keep her husband, Eddie, from cheating or just keep him in general. And that's the problem that she had. And then Giselle is like, no, I didn't believe the rumor. And then she's like, I said it on the show that I did not believe it. But the thing that nobody knows, unless you really go digging, is that if you go listen to their podcast, Robin and Giselle's podcast, Reasonably Delusional, there was an episode before this season, I believe, that I listened to that Giselle is like, oh yeah, one of my friends. She doesn't say Wendy's name. She only says, oh yeah, my friend. My friend, she got her body done and I think she's just doing it to keep her man and blah, blah, blah. So you were believing what you were saying on the podcast, Giselle. Yeah, you may have said something different on TV in front of the cameras, but on your podcast, you said otherwise. And that's the other thing that, Wendy has an issue with that. Yeah, you may have said one thing, but you assume that just because she got her body done, that she was doing it for Eddie. And that Giselle's views are also rooted in misogyny. And what kind of woman would say that? And then she tells Giselle, you got a tummy tuck and that didn't help you keep Jamal, now did it? And I'm like, damn, Wendy.
Finish her.
I wonder what Giselle is going to reply to that. But knowing Robin, she's probably going to jump in the middle and she's probably going to be like, no, I'll take those words for you, Giselle. Boosh. Oh, I'm here for you, Giselle. I'm your soldier. I'm fighting to the end of this reunion for you. Like, I already know that we're probably going to open up part 3 with Robin, like, screaming her head off to Wendy, like, no, what do you mean she's misogynist? Like, no, she is not. But that was that, y'all. That was the end of part 2 of the reunion. And also, I know I was going to keep up with the pink theme for the reunion and stuff, because last week I had my pink shirt and this week I don't. I have black, but I was going to wear my pink sweater, just to keep with the theme, but it was too hot. So yeah, I wasn't about to, melt and everything in front of this in front of the camera. So, this is what I was gonna wear though. So, this is my pink couture. Oh, I could actually fuck a sweater. I could make this shit into a dress. There we go. Here we go. There we go. This shit is Gucci. And that was that, y'all. That was part 2 of the Potomac reunion. Let me know what y'all thought about this part down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And I will see you all at part 3 of the reunion. Bye, y'all. Mwah.